Hello and welcome on board. In this video I would like to share with you the 3 best things and the 3 worst things about living on a boat. I have been living on my boat for about half a year now, both in the summer and in the winter. So by now I've got a pretty good picture of what it's like to live on a boat. I'm going to start with the bad news. So the 3 worst things about living on a boat, in my experience, are: number 1, everything takes more time and gets more complicated. If I want to do the dishes, I have to bring all the fresh water to the boat from somewhere else. In the beginning I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on a boat in the water, so I'm just gonna use the seawater to do the dishes. So I tried it out, and then everything started to rust. My utensils started to rust, my cooking pot started to rust, even my sink started to rust. So stainless steel and seawater doesn't work together. I don't have a shower here, so to take my showers I have to go all the way to the gym. Cooking is more complicated because my kitchen is tiny and I have my gas stove outside, so I don't get too much moisture in the boat. Everything just takes more time. But then again, if you live in an apartment, a lot of people actually make things take more time than they need to. For example, they use a lot of dishes each day, so then they also have to wash a lot of dishes each day. So I think in the end I don't really use that much more time, because I kind of counterbalance the extra time it takes by simplifying things. So the second bad thing about living on a boat is that a lot of things can go wrong. So one of my anchors appears to be stuck to another anchor line. So now I'm gonna have to dive down and see if I can get it all loose. It's gonna be cold, it's October. There are a lot of sensitive systems that could break, and if one of them breaks you can get in real trouble. So for example, one of the true hull fittings could start to leak and suddenly the boat might sink. Or the motor could stop working when you're on a trip and then you suddenly get stuck there. So compared to an apartment, the systems are more sensitive and more important for survival, basically. Of course, the good thing is that most of the issues I can fix myself on the boat. If the motor fails, I know some basics about fixing a motor. If the electricity fails, I don't really mind, because I actually put the whole system together myself, so I know exactly how it works and how to fix it. So at least, if something bad happens, I can fix it. And that brings me to the third bad thing about living on a boat. And this is the thing that bothers me the most. And it's really hard to do anything about it. And that is that living on a boat is not very environmentally friendly. The thing is, I'm basically living in a big chunk of chemicals. And to maintain that chunk of chemicals, I have to use more chemicals. A boat is just in such a harsh environment that you're almost forced to use harsh chemicals to keep things working. It's also very easy to drop things overboard. Usually you don't have the time to grab it and it just sinks down to the ocean floor. Living in an apartment you can at least make more choices. Here you don't really have a choice. So, now it's time for the 3 good things about living on a boat. Or I might say the 3 best things about living on a boat. The first thing is, it's really fun. I really enjoy having a boat. I love going sailing, I like to swim, I like diving. There's so many fun things you can do when you have a boat. And I don't think I would have had a boat if I didn't live on it, because it's just too much work and it's too expensive. But living here allows me to have this really fun toy that I can play around with, and it's awesome. Of course I can take my boat wherever I want, so I can go across the ocean, I can explore the world and do whatever I want with it. And that brings me to the second good thing about living on a boat, and that is freedom. If I want to move somewhere else, I can just take my boat and sail anywhere I want to and live there. Well, at least as long as the place is close to the water. I also own my own home, which means I can do whatever I want with it. I can just drill holes, I can paint it in whatever color I want to. I can make as much noise as I want to, because there's no one else in the marina living here, so I'm all alone. And of course it gives me a lot of freedom that it's very cheap to live on a boat. And that brings me to the third good thing about living on a boat. And that is, it's cheap. Compared to living in an apartment, it's much cheaper to live on a boat. Especially because people in Norway usually spend over half of their income on living. So rents are expensive, all the utilities are very expensive, but I just avoid all of those things by living in a boat. And that allows me to work less and need less money, meaning I have a lot of free time to do the things that I actually enjoy doing. And I don't have to do some stupid job that I hate just to get by. So living on a boat allows me to work less and to live the life that I want to live. So thanks for watching, and I hope this gave you an idea of what it's like to live on a boat, and maybe it inspires you to do the same. Even though there's some things that are not that nice about living on a boat, overall I really enjoy it. And I might end up doing this for the next years to come. I'll see. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe and all that stuff. You've heard this a million times before. And I hope to see you in the next video.